Now we'll move on to conduct of business.
Item 9A, approve, design, and adopt resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a construction contract with KJ Woods Construction for the Crystal Springs Road Sewer Replacement Project in the amount of $3,348,000 and approving a construction contingency of $502,200, authorizing the city manager to execute a contract for construction management and inspection services with 4Leaf in an amount not to exceed $230,720, approving a total project budget in the amount of $4,469,581 and appropriating an additional $1,149,581 from the wastewater fund.
Thank you. Jimmy.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council. The item in front of you tonight is regards to the sewer improvements project along Crystal Springs Road. The primary purpose of the project is to alleviate capacity-deficient sewer pipelines along Crystal Springs Road and to reduce the risk of future sanitary sewer overflows. This project is one of the capacity-related projects required to be completed as part of the consent decree with San Francisco Baykeeper. Unfortunately, the project has been delayed due to permitting issues with Caltrans. Caltrans took approximately 1 year in issuing an encroachment permit for the project. In addition, the Cemetery Avenue water and sewer replacement project needed to be completed prior to this project, since the pipelines connect to one another. Due to the delay, staff provided an updated project schedule to Baykeeper in the annual sanitary sewer overflows summary report submitted to Baykeeper earlier this year, and Baykeeper was pleased with the city's progress to meet SSO reductions in performance goals and didn't have any comments on the overall schedule of the project. So this project consists of constructing approximately 3,000 feet of sewer mains ranging from 8 inches to 24 inches in diameter. The project limits will be from the intersection of Oak and Crystal Springs Road to intersection of El Camino and Cemetery Avenue. Construction along El Camino will be required, which was the reason why an encroachment permit from Caltrans was needed. The pipeline will connect to the new manhole constructed as part of the recently completed San Mateo water and sewer replacement project at the intersection of San Mateo Avenue and El Camino. The construction for the San Mateo Avenue water and sewer project was completed ahead of schedule and under the approved overall project budget. Staff will be bringing to council the report to close out the project soon. To select a contractor for this project, it was advertised in the San Mateo County newspaper twice, once on June 6th and the other on June 13th. A total of 4 bids were received and opened on June 29th, ranging from $3.3 million to $3.9 million. The lowest bid was received from KJ Woods Construction in the amount of approximately $3,348,000, which was about $34,500 or 0.01% higher than the engineer's estimate. Staff is recommending to award the project to KJ Woods since the company has the qualifications and experience and completed numerous projects involving sewer mains replacement for public agencies for the city of South San Francisco, town of Hillsborough, and as well as San Bruno. In San Bruno, KJ Woods completed the construction of the Canes and San Mateo Avenue bypass project in 2015. Based on their experience and performance with other agencies in San Bruno, staff determined that KJ Woods meets the qualifications to perform the work for the project as specified in the contract documents. Construction management and inspection services by a consulting firm is also being recommended by staff to provide dedicated inspections and oversight to ensure effective and timely delivery of the project. The inspector will be on site full-time and will work closely with businesses along El Camino and address concerns related to traffic circulations and construction issues. One of the project goals is to minimize the impacts to the businesses and surrounding neighborhood, and having a dedicated full-time inspector will help. A dedicated inspector is also necessary since the portion of the work along El Camino is required to be performed at night by Caltrans to avoid traffic impacts. The work hours for construction within the Caltrans right-of-way will be from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. The city received a total of 4 proposals for construction management services and inspection services from Tanner Pacific, CSG Consultants, Park Engineering, and 4Leaf. All the proposals were reviewed for completeness, team qualifications, and relevant experience. And staff is recommending 4Leaf to provide the construction management and inspection services for the project. And 4Leaf has completed construction management inspection services for cities such as Cupertino, Mill Valley, Walnut Creek, Lathrop, and Pacifica, and is considered to have the experience and qualifications to perform the work. In regards to community outreach, staff will be performing public outreach on this project similar to other pipeline projects, since the construction will have impacts on the residents in the project vicinities, such as temporary roadway closures, noise, dust, access in and out of private properties. Currently, staff anticipates the road segments along Crystal Springs Road will be required to be constructed from block to block, since there's a single lane in each direction. Parking will also be restricted within each segment where construction work will take place. Detour signs to route pedestrians and sidewalk access and vehicle traffic will be posted as well. And at the end of each day, the road will be reopened. Construction work hours will be limited to 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. along Crystal Springs Road, and notifications letters will be sent to the residents and property owners. And staff anticipates the project to begin in construction in November and be completed within 5 months. And the entire roadway within the project limits will also be slurry sealed after the construction of the pipeline. So as for the fiscal impact, the 2018-2023 capital improvement program budget includes a carryover balance of about $3.2 million for this project, and the total estimated project budget that includes the design, construction contingency, and the construction management inspection services and staff project management is approximately $4.5 million. An additional request of $1.15 million from the wastewater capital fund is needed for this project. And this Crystal Springs sewer project is funded by the 2017 wastewater revenue bonds proceeds, and there's approximately $20 million in balance, which is sufficient to fund this project. So this concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for the presentation and information. Questions, comments from council?
Through the chair.
Laura?
I noticed, so the time is 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Have we ever maybe started the project a little bit later? I know with traffic in the morning, with schools, and can you delay it by even 30 minutes to start at work between 8:30 and 5?
Yes, that can be done.
Michael?
Thank you. The construction management, $230,000 over 5 months, seems high to me. Can you expand on what services are going to be provided for roughly $45,000 a month?
Right, so it'll be a full-time inspector on site for daytime and nighttime work within Caltrans right away, and there'll be a construction management manager as well who will be overseeing the entire project. So the inspector will be out in the field, and there's a construction manager will be overseeing the project as a project manager. This cost is very similar to other sewer pipeline projects that we brought to council. The one for San Mateo Avenue, which was approximately 5 months as well, it was about $299,000 for that project. Very similar to the one for the Crestmore Lomita pump stations, was over $400,000 for CM services, inspection services. So it's not unusual for this amount.
Given that we have so many of these infrastructure projects that are in the pipeline and other development projects that are out there, isn't there an opportunity for us to have, we saw that the planning department brought some limited term employees in to help with sort of this cycle of increased activity. And if we're going to have more of these type of projects and these services are that expensive, do we get to the point where it makes more sense to have a limited term employee doing these kind of things consistently and with a better knowledge of over time, a better knowledge of our locality?
Yeah, the thought is for us, the ideal situation is for us to have a project inspector in-house that would be able to perform all these work. Currently we have one inspector in-house that's doing a lot of the encroachment permit applications. We've gone through recruitments for inspectors, and there's very little, qualified candidates that are out there. And bringing in a candidate that doesn't have the experience to come and manage these or to perform the inspection on these, that's not an ideal situation for us. I don't want to have to train a person to come over here and having to deal with this complex type of a project. So with that, we went out for inspector recruitment 3 times already, and we have an ongoing continuous recruitment right now. The last time I checked, there were only 16 applicants, and none of them really applied. None of them qualified. Up and down the peninsula, other agencies are having the same issues, trying to find a qualified inspector and engineers. There's a shortage of inspector engineers out right now. Menlo Park is trying to continue to hire it as well for inspector engineers. They haven't been able to find one.
Okay. Well, thank you for that background. I appreciate that information. The other question I had was just related to any penalties that we include in our contracts for delays that are avoidable by the contractors. Do we have that type of language typically in our infrastructure projects?
It is. It's a liquidated damages clause in there. It's part of the agreements. Don't recall what this amount is. It could be $1,000 here per day, going over the contractual contractual duration.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Other questions? Marty?
Those are great questions, by the way, Michael. I mean, it's true. Inspectors are tough to get right now. Where I work, we're looking for one. And it's hard. They've been looking for a long time. And the people we get, they come on site, and it's like they don't really know anything. But I still think the effort that we probably have at least 20 million in sewer projects still to do, and another 40 million in water projects to do, more or less. So we can't give up on the recruitment, and we may have to look at increasing the incentive for people to come back and give to San Bruno. So I'd like to see how that works out. Clearly, we need to get this done now. It is a lot of money for 5 months, and my concern on this project is the water infiltration that during the rainy season and having to bypass the sewer, depending on which location of the sewer basin is. I recall that some areas the infiltration is really, really high. So trying to put pipe in and bypass the sewer around the others, it could be a lot more than anybody anticipates. So I'm just a little cautious of any time trying to do a sewer project in the winter. Your production is really slow. You're on streets. Probably your production gets reduced by half, and then the rain days. You have so many rain days in the contract, and being aware of that. I heard that you're going to slurry seal. So your T-trench. You're going to go ahead and pave the trench, but we're only going to slurry seal the road. Is that going to be an effective use of having a street that has this kind of decent section? I'm guessing it's in the middle. Normally the sewer's in the middle, and then the edges of it are just going to have slurry is just a little bit of oil and sand, and I'd be interested in hearing to do an alternative of actually paving that. If you're already out there and you're tearing it up, and the sides of the road are going to get damaged too from the heavy traffic. So I just wanted to throw that out to you. I know it's more money, but I'd rather make one big mess and get it all done. And then again, we're paving in the winter, right? It was something that I can't stand to try to do. The last thing is for our public to understand. We're going to spend $4 million on 3,000 feet. Okay, we have miles of pipe to replace at some point, right? I know these are big pipes, 8 to 24. That's big, but it's really a small segment of our overall city sewer program, our sewer system. So the last question is, the $1.15 million more that we're asking for, and is that when it was originally budgeted, is the extra costs that are coming up now, or is where can you help me understand why it's that much more needed than originally budgeted?
Yeah, so we had the project numbers, the budget that was used in the CIP were from a work plan that was developed a few years ago by a consulting firm, and so during the budget, we didn't escalate the numbers to the need of what is required, so we didn't include the contingency in there. That's over $500,000, I believe, for contingency, and as well as the inspection costs for another $200-something thousand as well. So there's other costs that were included in staff management costs as well. So that comes out to be close to about $1.1 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Thank
And
you.
in regards to your question about slurry seal, the PCI for the roadway is above 70 70. So normally we don't want to, use a mill and fill and waste more money to try to do that. And so we would try to just do a slurry seal on this roadway and then possibly use that money for other field street locations. That's the reason why we select the slurry seal.
But you'll evaluate the street after all this heavy equipment, because you're going to have the excavator
Correct.
right on the outside of that trench, and it's going to have some interesting issues there. So
Yeah.
it's 70 now, but we'll see what it's going to be after the project's completed on the outer edges of it. Right? Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? All right, Ernie, good. Any action of council?
I'd like to introduce the resolution.
Councilmember Medina?
Aye.
Councilmember O'Connell? Aye. Councilmember Salazar?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Davis?
Aye.
Mayor Medina?
Aye.